The Girl Who Played with Fire. Part 1. On a Caribbean island, a 13-year-old girl lies strapped to a bed. It is her birthday. Day 43 of her imprisonment. The man who visits her is tall, with reddish-brown hair and glasses. He speaks in a calm, pedantic voice. She hates everything about him. His smell. His touch. His silence. She dreams of dousing him in gasoline and lighting a match. It is the only thing keeping her sane. This is Lisbeth Salander. And this man is the reason she became who she is. 1 year has passed since the events on Hedeby Island. Lisbeth Salander has disappeared from Michael Blomqvist's life without explanation. She cut him off completely. Shut the door in his face. Stared through him on a subway platform as if he were air. Blomqvist has no idea what he did wrong. He visits her apartment weekly. The mailbox overflows. No answer. Their friendship, their brief romance, erased as cleanly as files deleted from a hard drive. But Salander hasn't been idle. She spent a year traveling the world. Grenada, St. Lucia, Barbados, Dominica, Italy. She had breast augmentation surgery in Genoa. She had her wasp tattoo removed from her neck to be less identifiable. She studied mathematics obsessively, falling in love with a 1,200-page textbook called Dimensions in Mathematics. She spent 7 weeks on Grand Anse Beach in Grenada, tutoring a 16-year-old boy named George Bland in algebra and having an affair with him. She hacked Dr. Forbes, a man from Austin who was beating his wife at the hotel next door, and anonymously tipped off the authorities. Hurricane Matilda forced her off the island. On the plane home, she decided it was time to settle some old scores. Back in Sweden, Salander's first stop is her former guardian's office. Nils German, the lawyer who was supposed to protect her, who instead raped her, who she tattooed with the words, "I am a sadistic pig, a pervert, and a rapist." German thinks he has the upper hand. He thinks the video she recorded of him is his weakness. He has no idea how thoroughly Salander has compromised him. She visits his apartment. She has sex with him. And in the aftermath, when he's vulnerable, she steals his police service weapon. A Colt 1911 Government .45. She takes the ammunition too. She is arming herself. And German, for all his legal connections, doesn't suspect a thing. Salander visits Dragan Armansky at Milton Security. She's broke, having spent most of her stolen Wennerstrom money on travel, surgery, and a new Porsche. Armansky gives her freelance work. But he's worried about her. She looks healthier than before, but there's something harder in her eyes. He asks if she's in trouble. She says no. She asks him to look into a man named Miriam Wu, a boxing trainer in Stockholm, but it's a casual request. Armansky doesn't know yet that Salander is preparing for something. At the same time, Blomqvist is at Millennium magazine, which is thriving after the Wennerstrom scoop. But 2 new journalists have joined the staff and they're working on something explosive. Dag Svensson, a young investigative reporter, and his partner Mia Bergman, a criminologist. Dag has spent 2 years investigating Sweden's sex trafficking industry. He has documented a vast network of pimps, corrupt police officers, and politicians who exploit women brought into the country from Eastern Europe. Mia is writing the academic backbone of the research. Together, they've built a terrifying picture of institutional rot. Their source inside the trafficking world is a woman named Irina, a former sex slave from Belarus who escaped and is willing to testify. Dag and Mia are about to publish the biggest story in Millennium's history. A story that will expose powerful men. Men who have everything to lose. And at the center of Dag's research, there is one name that keeps appearing. A mysterious figure known only as Zala. Nobody knows who Zala is. Dag found references to Zala in police reports, in old section files, in the shadows of Sweden's intelligence apparatus. Zala seems to be a ghost. A protected informant. Someone the state has kept hidden for decades. Dag is obsessed with finding out who Zala really is. But Zala is the one secret Sweden's intelligence community will kill to protect. Salander has been watching too. Through her hacking skills, she accessed Dag Svensson's computer and read his research. She found the same Zala file. And she recognized the name. Zala is short for Zalachenko. Alexander Zalachenko. Her father. The man who strapped her to a bed when she was 13. The man the state secreted away and gave a new identity. The man the government has been protecting for decades at the expense of his children. Salander doesn't tell anyone what she's found. She keeps it to herself. But the discovery changes everything. Then, on a Tuesday evening in March, Dag Svensson and Mia Bergman are found murdered in their apartment in Enskede. Both shot execution style with a single bullet to the head. Dag's laptop is missing. The gun used is a .45 caliber pistol. Lisbeth Salander's fingerprints are on the weapon. And when the police find Dag's laptop hidden in Salander's apartment, the case seems open and shut. Prosecutor Richard Ekstrom is eager to close it. The media goes into a frenzy. The girl who helped Blomqvist crack the Vanger case is now a triple murder. Sweden's most wanted fugitive. Blomqvist doesn't believe it for a second. He knows Lisbeth. He knows what she's capable of, and he knows what she isn't. She's a hacker, not a killer. She wouldn't murder two journalists she'd never met. He begins his own investigation, running parallel to the police. Inspector Bablansky, the lead detective, is more methodical than Ekstrom. He sees inconsistencies. The .45 caliber murder weapon traces back to Nils German's registered pistol, stolen months ago. But when Bablansky's team goes to arrest German, they find him dead in his apartment. Tortured, then killed. Salander's fingerprints are everywhere. The evidence piles up. The noose tightens. But Blomqvist is working angles the police aren't. He reaches out to Miriam Wu, Salander's lover and boxing trainer, who is also being hunted. He contacts Armansky, who quietly runs background checks. He pores over Dag Svensson's published articles and unpublished notes, finding the Zala connection that the police have overlooked. He realizes that the murders of Dag and Mia, the death of German, the framing of Salander, all of it traces back to one thing. The Zala file. Someone powerful enough to have a Soviet defector protected by the Swedish state for 30 years. Someone desperate enough to murder journalists to keep the secret. And someone who saw Lisbeth Salander, Zalachenko's own daughter, as the perfect scapegoat. Lisbeth Salander is hiding in Stockholm, moving between safe houses, living off cash, watching the city hunt for her. She is calm. Calculating. She has spent her whole life being underestimated by men in authority. The police, the prosecutors, the social workers, the psychiatrists. They see a small, strange, tattooed woman and they make assumptions. They always make assumptions. She lets them. And while they look in the wrong places, she is preparing for the final confrontation. The one she's been planning since she was 13 years old. With a can of gasoline and a match.